I'm excited to discuss this. One, because I'm really passionate about health and wellness and fitness. But secondly, because it was actually quite a challenge creating a talk that would be applicable to the business community. It's one thing to stand up here and talk about how to do exercises or the benefits of exercising, but everybody knows that. My challenge was trying to figure out how can I take that information and actually make it applicable. And what I want to talk about is health insurance. Specifically, health insurance as it relates to small business owners and employers. So I have some numbers written up here. 85%, 65%, $5,264 a year, $10,720 a year. In 2015, small employers for group policies paid 85% of the premiums of those policies for individuals, which came out to $5,264 for that year per individual. In 2015, small employers paid 65% for family policies that were lumped into a group. 65% of the premiums that came out to $10,720 a year per family policy. That's a huge chunk of change. And while there are a number of factors that come into play that dictate these numbers, everything from politics to the economics of it, there are two things that massively impact this. And those things are where the opportunities of small employers lives. Those two things, number one, prescription medications. Number two, hospital visits. Now, why I say this is where the opportunity is for small employers, it's because these two things are dramatically influenced by exercise. And while small employers can't necessarily force their employees to exercise, they can create the conditions within their workspace that are friendlier to allow their employees a greater opportunity to exercise. So what we're looking at here, between cost of prescription medications, hospital visits, additionally, missed time from work, ambulance care, lifestyle changes, all of that adds up to what is called a disease sum of physical inactivity. A disease sum of physical inactivity that includes heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, low back pain, and musculoskeletal issues. Out of pocket, all of that combined totals $26,026 a year per individual. $26,026 a year that's being paid out of pocket per individual when they develop this disease sum of physical inactivity. Again, including heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, low back pain, and musculoskeletal issues. That disease sum of physical inactivity is driving up the cost and the usage of prescription medications, is driving up the cost and the usage of hospital visits, additionally missed time from work, ambulance care, and lifestyle changes. Here's the thing. That disease sum of physical inactivity, that $26,026 a year that's paid out of pocket per individual that develops that, all of those conditions, all of those diseases, those can be positively affected or completely reversed by simple lifestyle changes through exercise. And that is where the opportunity lives for small employers to implement changes in how the day is structured and how the office is structured and in the benefits programs that are offered to employees at no additional cost to you. And that's what I really want to talk about today, okay? Here's the thing, 75% of employees say they want some kind of wellness program. But the fact of the matter is, traditional wellness programs don't do what they're intended to do. The intention is to try to help employees become more well, try to implement more healthy lifestyle changes, in turn, driving down these costs. The reality is, wellness programs really need to be split into two categories. One is called a lifestyle management program, where we are promoting the idea of physical activity, promoting the idea of eating better. The second is this disease management program, where we're sending people alerts, hey, take your medications, go to your doctor visits, get your labs done. While the first is more attractive to employees, the second has a much greater return on investment. In fact, a 10-year study showed that for every dollar that was spent on traditional wellness programs, getting people to exercise more, things like that, it only returned a 50 cent per dollar that was spent. That was the ROI on that. However, a disease management program, getting people to take their medications, getting them to visit their doctors, getting their labs done, returned $3.80 for every dollar that was spent. So over 7 times as much return on investment for this disease management program. Just simply by reminding people, hey, take your meds, hey, go visit the doctor, doing these kind of regular checkups that limit the more catastrophic events, okay? You skip your checkups and, oh my gosh, now we have to have a major heart surgery. You know, things like that. They're able to catch things early on by these disease management programs. The issue with this study is it did not take into consideration a well-structured exercise program. And what I mean by that is most wellness programs just throw out the idea, hey, get in more steps. Throw out the idea, hey, go to the gym every once in a while. But they don't educate the employees on what they need to be doing and the frequency of that. A lot of variables that come into a traditional wellness program, from mental emotional wellness to nutrition, but my specialty is exercise, and that's the component that I really want to dive into, okay? So looking at kind of the top 3 reasons why somebody doesn't exercise or why they don't implement a lifestyle change, what do you think they might be? Time, absolutely. Time comes up. The perceived cost comes up as well. And then the uncertainty of really what to do when they start. Yeah, I mean, I know I should go exercise, but they go to exercise and they get to the gym and they're not really sure exactly what to do. So those tend to be the top 3 variables. Number 1, time. Number 2, perceived cost. Number 3, not really sure what to do, okay? Here's the thing, again, as an employer, this is where your opportunity lives. There are 2 types of exercise that have to be done on a consistent basis in order to reduce this cost and in order to reduce your cost as the employer, okay? Number 1 is what we call all the time exercise. I'm going to abbreviate it ATT, all the time exercise. Number 2 is what we call special event exercise, okay? Now, all the time exercise is exercise that's done that's not typically thought of as exercise. It's physical activity where you're up and moving around, but it usually does not require a change of clothing. It's pretty darn low intensity. You're doing it throughout the day, and you don't necessarily need to go to the gym to do that, okay? Examples would be, you know, steps, exactly, getting your steps in.
Just walk around.
That's an awesome example of a very simple habit to get into, okay? Setting a timer to go off every 25 to 50 minutes, and every time that goes off, stand up, go to the restroom, go grab water, get up and move around. parking further back in the parking lot, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, all things that you've heard before. But the reason why this all-the-time exercise is important is because it prevents and reverses something called insulin resistance. And what insulin resistance leads to, type 2 diabetes and heart disease. So getting up and walking around, while it seems like, oh, I'm not burning very many calories, it's not the calories that are important. What's important is how frequently you're being active. Now the thing about all-the-time activity, it's not very intense. So you're doing it a lot throughout the day. Because you start doing it too intense, and you start to break into this special event exercise. Now what special event exercise is a physical activity that we normally classify as exercise. Hey, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna go for a run, I'm gonna lift weights. It's a sectioned period of your day, okay? Time where you're blocking off and you're saying, I'm gonna go get my workout in. It's usually a bit higher intensity. In fact, the recommendation for special event exercise is a minimum of a 7 out of 10 for perceived exertion. So if 10 is you are gasping for air, you cannot do anymore, and 1 is just you're at rest, you want to be at a 7 out of 10. So you got to be pushing yourself. A minimum of 45 minutes at least 3 days a week. And you start to glean these really cool benefits of special event exercise that include preventing certain types of cancer by up to 40%, and preventing and reversing osteoporosis. So there's tremendous benefit to this special event exercise. But here's the thing, special event exercise is not done frequently enough to prevent and reverse insulin resistance that you get with all-the-time exercise. All-the-time exercise is not intense enough to get the benefits of special events, so you need both. And the failure of most wellness programs when it comes to lifestyle management is they only focus on one or the other. It's going to be a steps challenge at work this month. Okay, great, you're getting your all the time in, but you're neglecting the special event. Or, okay, we're going to do a discount with gym memberships. Great, you're giving the opportunity for special event, but you still have people sitting at their desk for 8 hours a day. So it needs to be a combination of both in order to decrease the cost of this diseasome of physical inactivity, in order to ultimately decrease your cost of premiums as an employer. Now here's the thing, these costs are not necessarily going to go down with this approach, but what's going to happen, if implemented correctly, they will not rise as everything else trends upwards. So as the cost of healthcare continues to rise, by implementing these strategic lifestyle changes, the cost that you as the employer face should stay relatively flatlined, which over the course of time, again, adds up to thousands of dollars per year per employee. So this is not an immediate short-term solution. This is playing a long-term game, but with very predictable and definitive outcomes. So how do we do this as employers? How can we implement changes within our employees? How do we rally the troops to get them to lower our costs? A few ideas, and all of them cost you as the employers $0. One, offering a special structure for the work schedule. Specifically, offer your employees either a late start, an extended lunch, or an early exit, with that additional time being dedicated to working out. Hey, we'll let you come into the office at 10 instead of 9 if you're going to the gym to get your workout in. We'll give you 2 hours at lunch if you're going to the gym to get your workout in. We'll let you leave early if you're going to get your workout in, getting that special event exercise in. And that's a perfect example of you're offering him a benefit, but it's of zero cost to you. You're not shelling out any extra money. And even though you may think, oh, it's going to cost me money because of decreased productivity, all the numbers, exactly,
yes.
All the numbers say otherwise.
Yeah.
That when people are exercising on a regular basis, when they are taking the time for themselves, their productivity and their ability to focus when it comes to helping others goes through the roof. So that's a wonderful example. Second idea, making it a company policy that every 25 to 50 minutes, your employees have to get up and move. Now, where this comes into play is when thinking about meetings. This means you can't have 2 hours of straight meetings. Every 45 to 50 minutes, have them stand up, walk around for 5 to 10 minutes, and then regroup. Now, again, this may seem like, oh, it's just going to fragment the day so much. Again, the data speaks otherwise. Have you heard of something called the Pomodoro technique? So what that is, it's a technique where you do focused, intense work for 25 minutes, and then you take a break for 5 minutes. Now what's really cool is by implementing that technique, not only does productivity go through the roof, but it also gives you that 5-minute break where you get to stand up, walk around, go to the bathroom, grab water. Because the reality is unless somebody is just completely enthralled with their work and they go so deep with it, every 25 to 50 minutes, they're probably checking email, checking Facebook, doing something that's not productive anyways. So at least make it a mandatory policy that during that time, instead of spacing out on their phone, they're getting up and moving around. And then also thinking about the layout of your office space. A lot of times we want to make our office space as efficient as possible. We want the bathroom here, we want the water here, we want the desks here, so somebody doesn't even have to leave their desk to go to the bathroom. But the reality is, that means they're not leaving their desk at all. As backwards as it may seem, trying to create an office space that's actually more inefficient in order to improve the efficiency of your workers by forcing them to get up and move around can be a very beneficial thing. If you have a movable water station, move it away from the bathrooms. So somebody has to go to one end for the restroom and then walk to the completely opposite end to use the water. Again, it's a very simple thing, but it'll make a difference when it comes to getting up and moving around throughout the day. This helps with that all the time exercise. So here's the thing though, here's the thing with that. It's a good point, but standing and not moving is no better than sitting and not moving.
Oh, really? Okay.
The issue is the not moving.
Okay.
So it's one thing if you're standing at a treadmill desk and you're moving, but not moving is still not moving regardless of whether you're standing or whether you're sitting. There can be differences as far as how it may feel on your low back or how it might feel on your structure. But from a physiological standpoint, not moving is still not moving.
Okay.
All right, number 3. As small employers, it's difficult to offer in-service health clubs or in-unit health clubs, okay? We all can't be Apple or Google when we build out these massive health facilities for the strict use of our employees. However, there is an opportunity to go to, say, the Park District, to go to a Lifetime Fitness, to go to some of these other bigger health clubs and say, hey, can I strike up a deal with you where my employees get 20% off their membership, where my employees get 10% off their membership? I mean, to get an entire year of membership from Park District is like $200. I mean, that's less than $20 a month. I mean, that's pretty low cost as is, and then if you can get an additional discount on top of that, it's costing your employees very minimal, and it's an added bonus that they see from working for you, giving them the opportunity to get in their special event exercise. And if you combine that with the structure changes, where you're now giving them the time during the day, because what were our 3 biggest reasons? Time, so now you're providing the time during the day. Cost, if you can show a decreased cost for them, and as well as the, hey, where it's not costing you anything to stand up and move around, that's 2. And 3, the not knowing what to do, well, you are already structuring their day to knock out that concern as well, because you've structured the time for the special event, you've structured the time for the all the time exercise. So doing those things, it's 0 cost to you, huge upside for your employees, and keeps these costs from rising over time. And then finally, there are a number of outside resources available, okay? Julie and I put out a ton of content on our blog teaching people how to exercise. We released our latest ebook on September 1st, giving people the ability to assess their own bodies to create a customized exercise plan for themselves. And that's at absolutely no cost. We've structured out, or we've detailed out all these things in another ebook that we have at no cost, telling you how to exercise to create lifelong health. So the information is out there. Offering that as resources for your employees can help with that last bit of, I know that I should be exercising, but I don't know what to do. Okay? So to recap, small employers are burdened with a tremendous cost. 85% of individual policies, 65% of the premium of family policies when it comes to offering health insurance for their employees. Now, while there are a multitude of factors that go into the actual cost of that, there are some things that can be affected by employee lifestyle choices that are driving the costs up. You as the employers have the opportunity to keep those costs from rising by switching some things in the schedules, in the demands of the work, and in what you're offering your employees that ultimately is of zero cost to you. So that's what I wanted to present on today. I hope that it gets you thinking about some stuff. If not for your employees, for yourself. I hope that you found this information useful. Like I said, there's a ton of information about this, about how to exercise with busy schedules, about how to exercise for when you have aches and pains that Julie and I put out on a weekly basis on our blog. We have free ebooks, resources that you're more than welcome to download and pass out to whomever that would benefit. But the big thing with this is these numbers are not out of our control. They're very much within our control, but it takes doing something about it on an everyday basis. And so that's what I hope that we're able to get from this.